Welcome back everyone to my Let's Play of Metroid II, Return of Samus. When we last left off, we had just entered Area 8. We had a little preview there in Area 7 of what to expect in Area 8 when we fought an Omega Metroid. The Omega is the last mutation of the Metroid, which makes sense because Omega is the last letter in the Greek alphabet, where Alpha is the first, so the first mutation, the Alpha. Now we're going to be fighting the Omega, the last mutation. So we have 3 Omegas in this area. And this area kind of gives a vibe of Lower Norfair. There's going to be these 3 rooms off of some central platform, a central vertical area. And it reminds me, like I said, of Lower Norfair, where we got the wave beam, where we have these, like, bubble columns, so. But unlike the first Metroid, we don't have to worry about getting stuck between them because we have the spider ball and the space jump, so. No worries about getting stuck, so. Here's our first Omega Metroid. So once again, we want to try to spin, jump through it with our screw attack, so we land behind it. Takes 40 missiles to defeat, but if we get behind it, each missile will do 3 times the damage. So technically we can take these guys out with 14 missiles. 13 from the back, and then either the 14th in the face or in the back would meet the mandatory 40 count. So there's 1 down, 2 more to go. So just gonna head back to this vertical area, and we're gonna head to the right. And we have a little horizontal area that will lead to Area 9. But we can't get to Area 9 because there's going to be lava blocking the way. And even if you had full energy tanks and were able to tank all the damage through the lava, there's a spiked ceiling at the end that also will disappear once the earthquake happens to drain the lava. So I'm going to head over here to a second vertical area. Right here, we can go to the very top of this area, and there's another save point, but since we saved earlier, and there's going to be another save point after we defeat all these Metroids before we meet any other Metroids in Area 9, there's no reason to basically visit that save point, so it's going to make our way across these bubble columns, and it's time to take on Omega Metroid number 3, or the second one in this area. Remember, we defeated one in the last episode. So now, when we screw attack through them, we don't take any damage, but they don't take any damage from us. But we still want to try to screw attack through them and try to get them as low to the ground as possible. When the Metroid is facing away from us, it's only going to face away from Samus for a short amount of time. You're wasting time jumping up and shooting missiles. So the lower you can get it to the ground, the lower your jump has to be to connect with the missiles in the back. So you'll have more time to, pump those missiles into its weak point, its back. So I'm going to mention it before we get into the next fight, the last fight with the Omega. But it's funny, when you hit the weakness of the Omega, its legs start kicking really, really quickly. So it's kind of like when you're petting a dog and you maybe get that nerve in its belly and it starts kicking its leg out as a reflex. Yeah, it's funny when you watch when you fight this Omega, when we hit it in the back, it'll start flipping its legs. So it doesn't do that when you hit it in the face, but remember, the face and the back are the only 2 places you can hit it from. Like the Zeta Metroid before it, it has like armor plating on its belly, so you can't hit it from below. So see how its legs are like kicking? He's like giving that little flutter kick, backwards. So, his little tail wags a little bit there too. Spin jump through it, try to get behind it. We have more than enough missiles to finish it off. Yeah, you gotta be careful. If you run out of missiles, there's not too many enemies here, so you can't really farm missiles up. You're gonna have to backtrack all the way to Area 6, but we were fine there, so not have to worry about it, so. Now, we're going to have another save point before we encounter any Metroids, and we're also going to have an energy refill and a missile refill. So don't worry about anything. We're not going to have any problems with missiles or energy before we run into the final Metroid there. See how it counters down to 1, so you don't have to worry about doing any backtracking to fill up. Don't think that, oh man, like, I don't want to head into the last area, like, with so little resources. Because probably by now, fighting all these Omegas, you may be low on resources, but don't worry, we're going to get a save point and energy and missile tank refill coming up, so. Passageways are pretty much devoid of life, once again, showing the threat that the Metroids have, so. Now, the upcoming area is kind of considered the lab area. It looks kind of like a deserted, destroyed lab, which made people kind of question, you know, hey, were the Metroids actually created? And I think future games kind of address that the Metroids were created by this race, the Chozo, and those are those like they were like bird people, and those are like kind of represented by the statues that kind of hold the items. And the Metroids were created to combat another parasite that we learn about in Metroid Fusion, the X-Parasite. And we're gonna this extermination of the Metroids is gonna come out to kind of like bite the Federation in the butt, I guess, because when you mess with an ecosystem, if you destroy all the predators, then the prey is going to go out of control. And when we destroyed all the Metroids, which are the main prey, or main predators of the X-Parasite, the X-Parasite, you know, multiply, and basically they become a major threat to the galaxy. So, yeah, it also makes kind of sense, I guess. You know, the Metroids are probably a created life form because they can be multiply when exposed to a beta rays for 24 hours, according to the instruction manual from the first Metroid. And, you know, most life, you know, if you expose it to, you know, all life that I know of on Earth, if you expose it to, you know, beta rays, it's basically going to kill it, you know, destroy its DNA, you know, cause cancers and stuff like that. So, yeah, obviously something, an artificial life, you know, might have been created to not be destroyed by beta rays. So we want to make our way up where there was the first little wall at the bottom. We're going to start space jumping up there, and we end up in an area where we get a refill of energy and missiles. We get these little tubes. There's 3 of them in the area. If you have the ice beam, you don't have to go into the second tube. But we don't have the ice beam because we chose to take the plasma beam back in Area 6, so we have to come up into this middle tube, pick up the ice beam. So it makes you also wonder if the Metroids were also created, if they're also maybe, like, intelligent. Because, see, they kind of destroyed this Chozo statue. Maybe they were trying to destroy the ice beam? You know, maybe they're scared of Samus, because they see all the damage that she's doing, defeating all the Metroids previously. So whenever we drop down, we want to drop down the center of the tube, because that'll allow us to land on that little cloud creature. We can ride the cloud creature down a little bit, and then start space jumping over to the left. So here's our final little area. Like I said, it looks like a lab. You see these like little tubes, and looks kind of like lights, or maybe like electrical conduits and circuits. But when you head up here, we find, ooh, there's a Metroid egg. But that is not the one Metroid that we have left to defeat. Nope. The main Metroid we have to defeat is the Queen Metroid. And she apparently has just laid some more Metroids. Our Metroid counter went from 1 to 9. So we have 8 larval Metroids that we have to defeat. Much like the larval Metroids in Metroid 1, to defeat these Metroids, we have to freeze them with the ice beam and then shoot them with 5 missiles. All 5 missiles have to hit it at the in one go. So if you freeze it and then shoot it with less than 5 missiles and it unfreezes, which it will after a certain amount of time, you're going to have to refreeze it and then shoot it again with 5 missiles, you know, all in one freeze section. If you don't defeat the Metroid and it unfreezes, you know, it'll obviously make a beeline towards you, and if it does grab you, you're gonna have to shake it off by rolling down into your ball form and then dropping bombs. And after a few bombs, the Metroid will detach from you, but it won't detach too far. But it should give you enough space that you can face this direction and hopefully freeze it before it latches back onto you. Now, the Metroid AI is programmed to kind of go towards you, even if there's like a wall in the way. So, like for these final Metroids there, what we want to do is we want to get as far over to the right as possible to lure the Metroids over there, turn around, run, drop down, and we're a little faster. Samus is a little faster than the Metroid, and she'll be able to drop down and freeze it before it manages to hit her and latch on. So here we have the final boss, the Queen Metroid, the one Metroid we have to defeat. It takes 150 missiles to defeat, but we can speed it up by, if you freeze it, sometimes its mouth, it kind of freezes when you shoot it in the mouth with missiles. And if you freeze it in the right point, you can roll down into a ball and roll into its neck. You'll take some damage from like its stomach acid, I guess, but when you lay a bomb in its stomach, it basically does the equivalent of 25 missiles. So 150 missiles total. We can break it up into missile shot in the face or bombs blown up in its belly. If you run out of missiles or energy tanks, what you can do is you can escape this room. See, there's that little hole underneath where the Metroid Queen is standing. That's basically an exit to the beginning of the lab. The Metroid Queen kind of tries to grab you with its mouth. It can also shoot these little like fireballs at you, 3 in a row. Just screw attack through them, and that's the easiest way to get through them. So once you defeat the Metroid, that lab area that it's blocked off, and we can't escape through the ceiling anymore. So we're left with going over this way, over to where this egg was. And the egg, it's a little larval Metroid, the baby Metroid. And we run into these little like diamonds, and the baby Metroid is the only thing that can defeat these things or eat them. So I guess it's like a little food source. So yeah, you can't screw attack through them, you can't shoot them with a beam, missile them, bomb them. The baby Metroid is the only way we're gonna escape this planet. So SR-388. So thanks to the baby Metroid, which is kind of imprinted on Samus, Samus is able to escape. Baby Metroid is similar to the other Metroids, where it's coded to like follow Samus. So if it gets stuck on like a platform, just kind of move around, and eventually it'll make its way around. So once we get here, we're back up to the surface, and we just kind of go around these walls, and eventually we're going to find our way back to our ship. Unfortunately, at this point, we can't go any further back deep into the planet. So if you missed an item, well, you don't really need any items because, you know, you beat the game basically. But yeah, if we go back to we're dropping down to where our ship was, where we initially landed. But yeah, if you head over to where the initial cavern was, yeah, there's a cave in. It's blocked. So to end the game, all we have to do is head over to our ship, land in the ship, and that is completion of Metroid II. Like Metroid 1, there are multiple endings to this game. There are 4 endings. The first ending is if you take 7 hours or more, Samus is just going to stand still. Right now, Samus is running. That's going to be in the other 3 endings. We're going to have Samus running. If you took between 5 and 7 hours, Samus is going to keep running throughout the entire credits sequence. If it took between 3 and 5 hours, Samus is going to run, and at one point she's going to stop, she's going to jump off the screen, land back onto the screen, and she'll still be in her power suit. The best ending, which is the one that we got here, is if you beat the game in less than 3 hours. When she stops and jumps off the screen, she's going to land back on the screen, but rather than being in her power armor, she's going to be in basically her underwear. She's in underwear and a crop top shirt. So once again showing that, you know, Samus, famous bounty hunter, the best bounty hunter in the universe, is actually a woman. So, but yeah, those are the different endings that we can get from here. So this game leads directly into Super Metroid. The baby Metroid is she's going to deliver to the Federation, and Super Metroid is going to start off with the space pirates capturing the baby Metroid, and then trying to do like in Metroid 1, they return back to the planet Zebes, and they try to breed the Metroid for their own nefarious purposes. This game also will tie into Metroid Fusion, which is kind of like Metroid 4, which is the aftermath of what happened. We learn about the X-Parasite is starting to breed rapidly on SR388 here, because the Metroid, the prey that ate it, is, gone. So yeah, it gets a little deep, but that's as deep as I'm gonna go, and that's as deep as I'm playing games, because like I said, not really good at Super Metroid. But I hope you enjoyed the Metroid and Metroid 2 that I did play. Thanks for your time. Bye.